Welcome to the Heels and Quads Wrestling Podcast.
A fully loaded edition.
Yeah.
About one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time.
WCW's New Blood Rising.
What day is it again?
Tuesday. Monday. It's Monday. Oh, shit.
When you're down in the dumps and you need something to bring you,
Hey Domino's, if you want to sponsor the show for giving Levi the shits at 2 a.m., you can email us at heelsandquads@gmail.com.
And everybody's just having a good old fucking time here. They're having a great time at Bachelor Beach.
Because it was free.
Yeah.
yeah, now.
The show must go on, but things must go wrong.
I wanted to have a fucking puke bucket next to me and be like, oh my god, he's gonna puke.
There's something wrong with me. I'm gonna go, look, dude, I'm in a big league again.
Look, dude, do you know who I am and do you know how much money I've made doing it?
Wrestling is so fucking stupid, dude. God, I love it.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Heels and Quads Wrestling Podcast. After a 2-week hiatus, we make our return on our thrones, not with wrestling, but with the Halloween special. I'm joined by Tommy, of course. Bitch. Freddie, the Nightmare on Elm Street series, we're obviously talking about today, and yeah, Freddie loves to say bitch. That's definitely bitch. That's his favorite cuss word, man.
I'm down with it. I've never heard anybody say it as much
Pulls
as
it
that.
off. Well, the other ones don't talk, Michael and Jason.
That's true. I had this conversation yesterday with Amanda, and I was like, you know, it's really tough because I love Halloween. Like, me and you both love that franchise. But I was like, after watching Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm like, I kind of like Freddy better.
It's
tough.
It kind of, yeah.
But it's because he talks.
I think it just helps. And the concept is cool, too.
Yeah.
Like, he fucks with you in your dreams, you know? So it's...
You can't control that.
Kind of a... No, because you got to sleep. And what was I going to say? I was going to just make a statement that we should do the Friday the 13th series next year. Just because
that's what I was thinking yesterday. I figured that would be next.
We should definitely do that.
We'll go from there.
Because I'm going to start watching them this week. I always watch them for Halloween and Halloween, of course. But
yeah,
like it's kind of cool because every year we always watch Halloween movies for like a month or two straight once it's the season. And so this time it was cool because we actually got to watch Nightmare on Elm Street, which has been a while, dude, since I've seen 2 through 7 or whatever. Like I've seen the first one many times because they played on TV or it's on Netflix once in a while or whatever. But it's been a minute since I've seen all the others.
Yeah, I haven't watched Nightmare on Elm Street since I want to say probably the early 2000s, like before I graduated high school.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I just didn't realize how cool the whole friend as a whole it was. I mean, there's a couple of turds in there, but you know, even the turds
aren't bad because there's a couple of turds in Halloween. There's a couple of turds in Friday the 13th. You know.
Well, and like the Halloween turds are debatable because like the ones that people think are turds, I like 4 through 6. Everybody's like, I like those.
I don't dislike them, but like those would be what would be considered the turds. I think H20 would be considered a turd, and Resurrection are kind of turdish.
Resurrection's a fucking dumpster fire, dude.
You know, I used to like it when I was a kid, and then I
saw the theaters.
Yeah.
I mean, the only part that I like is the trick or treat motherfucker part.
trick or treat, motherfucker. It's Buster Rhymes, isn't it?
Yeah, because even
it's Buster Rhymes.
Buster. Because
Buster.
even that scene is stupid. Like, why is he doing fucking karate and shit?
I don't know. It's a goofy movie.
Anyways, we're not talking about Halloween.
Yeah. Anyway, we've talked about it many times, but we should do that whole series in retrospect at some point. We don't have to do it necessarily. I mean, it would kind of have to be done on Halloween, but not necessarily. We can do Halloween in September.
Yeah.
Or something. We can do Halloween in November.
I pretty much can watch the Halloween series anytime, though. It doesn't have to be Halloween.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I got to watch that in fucking June.
Yeah, I watch a lot of horror all year, but it definitely kicks in a little harder once the summer's over, because summer is just not. I just don't. It's not really. I don't game. I don't do movies. I just kind of work a lot, and then like there's not enough time in the summer to have all the other hobbies. So yeah, I don't know.
Summer,
start figuring out a way to make it happen.
Summer is more of like me. You know, I like to be outside and do stuff, and I don't want to sit inside and watch. I don't want to sit inside and watch TV. Yeah. This is that time of year when it starts cooling off and you're like, fuck, my knees hurt.
Yeah.
I don't want to even fucking walk.
Oh, the wind blew yesterday. My knee blew out on me. Why? Well, the wind blew. Oh, fuck. Getting old, man. Speaking of getting old, I got to get back in the gym today. I've been lazy for a couple of weeks.
So I figured what we could do is we would just like kind of, you want to talk about each movie?
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about each movie and then we rank them.
Rank them. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I made my ranks last night after I finished New Nightmare. So yeah, the series starts with, of course, just Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, and this one's clearly like the classic Nightmare on Elm Street here because it's the introduction of Freddie. It's got Nancy, who's Heather Langenkamp, who is in 3 movies total, I believe.
Yeah, she's
in 3
and
New Nightmare.
Yep.
And in New Nightmare, she plays as herself. It's like we'll talk about that as we get there, but it's kind of a reality-based one. But this film is credited using many of the tropes found in low-budget horror films of the 70s and 80s that originated with John Carpenter's Halloween and led to the subgenre to be called the slasher film. So, yeah, this was after Halloween and after Friday the 13th. So I guess Freddy is technically the last of the slashers to come out. But the concept is cool because he's in your dreams. It's not some dude that comes after you who just walks with a machete or a knife. He's got these things on his hands, if nobody's familiar with Freddy, which you should be, but he's got the little blades on his hands, the glove. And the backstory would be where we could also start too, is so he was like a pedophile, right? Or he was a child
killer is what they call him in the first one.
Thing. Child. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the parents got together and burned him.
Yeah, because originally he was going to be a child molester, but right before I guess Wes Craven started production, there was it was like the first time really that pedophiles were known. Like, I mean, people knew about them, but it wasn't like in the news like today. Like today, every day you hear about it. But it was in California, and I guess there was a guy that it was a bunch of kids and stuff, so he didn't want the movie being kind of tied to that. But later on, like in the reboot, it's more he's a child molester, which we won't even talk about the reboot because it sucks. Sucked then, sucks today. It's always gonna suck. No Robert Englund, no Nightmare on Elm Street. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not good. Did Wes Craven do the remake?
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's also why it sucks.
Yeah,
because no Wes Craven. But yeah, so parents got together, burned him down, and the story is he comes back in the dreams to get revenge on all these kids whose parents burnt him to the ground in his little shack, whatever that was he lived in.
The Elm Street kids is who he was after, specifically.
Hence the name Nightmare on Elm Street, because it's a nightmare and they're on Elm Street. So They squeezed 7 movies out of this series. Technically, I guess 8 if you count Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the first one, Nightmare on Elm Street. You got Nancy, you got Johnny Depp's in it, and he gets swallowed up in a bed. Glenn, Glenn's death scene. It's on YouTube. You can look at that. They have just that clip, but he gets swallowed in a bed, and
I'll probably add it.
Yeah. After watching all these now, so I had this issue when we were watching them all, which I found those 4-pack DVDs you get at Walmart at Vintage Stock. I found 1 through 4 and 5 through Freddy versus Jason at Vintage Stock. So I got both for $12.
Oh, wow.
It's not bad for both DVDs. But I wanted and so did you, the set at Walmart. It's always been at Walmart. The Blu-ray set or the DVD set, Blu-ray set, whatever. It's always been at Walmart. The one fucking time I'm actually going to buy it, it's not there. And the same for you, right?
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
I went to Walmart probably in the last 3 weeks since we talked about doing this. I've went probably, I would say 7 times. And every time I've just ran to the DVD part and looked through the whole thing.
Not there.
Trying to find the set, and it's not there. And even on Walmart's website, I think I was going to order it and there was 6 left. And then I was like, do I really want to spend $33?
Yeah. Amazon, it was $33 on Amazon for the Blu-ray set as well. I was going to get that because you and I both are you got to have high definition. You got to be Blu-ray. That's how it is. My wife could care less, but I'm like, hey, there's a difference. And there is.
Yeah. So luckily,
we got the special eyes.
I had a 2-week free trial for YouTube TV, so they were all on that. So I got to watch them, and they were. I mean, it wasn't Blu-ray quality, but I mean, it was close. So
yeah. So, anyways, that's the first one. I was getting to that too. Is when we were watching these, 1 through 4, I kept dozing off halfway through it, and
because they were older.
Just because I would start watching them at 9 o'clock, and I'd have food in my belly, so I'd be on the couch comfortable. I'd start dozing. So 1 through 4, middle to end, is blurry. Now I remember the movies to an extent, but I would say 4 is probably the most blurry for me, and I don't remember Freddy's dead at all. But that wasn't good. So that's okay.
But in the first one, and I've been talking about it. I talked about it our last show that we did 2 weeks ago because we've been off. But the first scene you see Freddy and Tina's like, oh, please God, and he's like, this is God, and he's all in the shadows in the alley and shit, and that's kind of what made the first one good, is because you don't really see him in bright light. It's always in the shadows and kind of creepy, or when he's in the boiler room, even it's dark and you just see red lights kind of around.
It's always a boiler room too, by the way. It's always a boiler room. It has to be.
But Tina's death,
and he comes out of the wall.
Yeah, Tina's death is probably one of the most famous scenes in the whole franchise, because they're in the alley.
Which one was hers again?
Hers was the one where she goes up the wall and she's thrashing around floating in the air, and her boyfriend's in the corner watching. Yeah. And then she falls on the bed. And then
he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and he gets framed for murder and then ends up in jail, and then he gets hanged.
Well, he's on the run first.
Yeah.
And because nobody believes him.
Yeah, and then everybody thinks he committed suicide in jail, even though he actually gets killed by Freddie.
Yeah.
And then Glenn, Johnny Depp, his is probably, I would say, either 1A, 1B most famous, because
blowing fucking
all
blood
the
out
fucking
of
blood coming out of the bed. That was insane.
And he's and it's crazy. It shows you the time period. He's watching his television's on his lap. He's passed on the bed with big ass pair of headphones and the old television. It's just
with the antennas and everything.
Man. Yeah.
Even then though, when I was a kid, late 80s, early 90s, we always had the big fucking TV. Even in my room, it was a big fucking TV on the floor. It was never anything small until I became a teenager, and then I got a smaller TV that sat on the old TV.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, the first one is, I'm not gonna rank it yet, but it's
good. I mean,
it's definitely
it's
a
up there.
classic.
It's up, yeah, and it's because it's a classic. It's up there in the rankings for both of us. Actually, our top 3 are the same, so we can just give that away now, and then when we get to it, that we can collectively talk about those. I kind of when you sent me that last night, I agreed with that, but we'll get to that. So, anyways, Nancy lives after all the bullshit. Her dad's a cop, and you get a call back to that also in New Nightmare, which is just it was a real fun one to watch. But I guess moving on to number 2, we covered all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Freddy's Revenge. So Nancy's not in this one. This one is this one is the kid. What's his name in this again? Jesse, and he's being tormented by Freddy. And it's kind of weird because he's like a new kid, but he's hanging with like the real popular kid, and he's got that girlfriend. And the film follows Jesse Walsh, a teenager who begins having recurring nightmares about Freddy Krueger after moving into former home of Nancy Thompson from the first film. Freddy's Revenge was released November 1st, 1985, and grossed $30 million at the domestic box office on a budget of $3 million. So it did pretty good at the box office.
That's one thing about some horror movies, like back then. Isn't it weird to you how they couldn't get a pre-Halloween release, or at least, like, if you can't get it on Halloween, you'd at least want it like before, like November 1st.
Yeah. November 1st. It's the day after Halloween. So probably Halloween midnight, people were at the theater watching it maybe.
Or
I don't
the
know if they
drive-in.
did that back then. Yeah. But this one's pretty good because it's like it's a pretty good follow-up to it, because he keeps waking up like sweaty in the night. It's hot in the house, and he's having the dreams about Freddy, and he just starts losing his fucking mind, this Jesse dude. And he's like, he can't sleep. They're at that, and then they go to that party at what's his girlfriend's house? What's his girlfriend's name? I forgot what her name is.
The chick that looks
Lisa.
like Meryl Streep. Yeah,
Lisa, whom he's interested in romantically after getting in a fight with a boy named Grady. Grady's his buddy. After they get in a fight, they do push-ups together and shit. They're in trouble. So it's kind of centered around those 3 people, really. And there's some others too. Like there's the athletic chick,
the coach.
Is it the bench press chick in this one, or is that?
No. That's
4.
4. Yeah.
4. Yeah. Okay. See, I told you they all started running together. But I think this one's a good one, and
it's underrated. It's
underrated for sure.
People really shit on this one, and I like going into it. I looked at everything, like the Wikipedia page, and I watched some videos on YouTube about every movie before I watched it to kind of get in that headspace. But it was like, I didn't really see why. I mean, I kind of get it. Like, I wish Nancy would have been in it. I think she should have been in all of them personally, but it wouldn't make sense.
She just keeps surviving, beating Freddy. Like, eventually he would just be like, okay, fuck it, maybe.
But I think this one, the only thing that I could find on it really that why people shit on it so much is like the gay undertones is why people don't like it so much, because
it's
like, the guy that plays Jesse, like, and I watched his documentary. It's called Scream Queen. And, he's actually homosexual in real life. So,
he is. Okay. I didn't. Yeah. Because it's definitely like, you can tell he's not. Yeah.
Right. But
right.
Right. I see what you're trying to say, but I don't see that being a reason why to hate on this movie, because like it was like his screams were too girly and stuff, but that makes it real.
Yeah, because he's fucking terrified.
Like,
I'd scream like a bitch too if Freddie was in my.
If I'm in that situation, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to be like,
yeah, oh, yeah. And also, a part I forgot to mention too is in his dreams and reality that's happening, he's kind of slowly turning into like Freddy. Freddy's really fucking with him, and he's wearing He's wearing the glove.
He basically takes over Jesse.
He's like possessing him. So the first couple movies, and really all of them, Freddy's almost like a demonic entity in a way. Because he's always, like, in the first one, the crucifix flies off the wall over and over again. And, like, it's just, he's kind of got this demonic vibe to him, too, which I guess essentially he is. He's like a dream demon. Maybe that's, hey, there we go. Dream demon. That's Nightmare on Elm Street 6, Dream Demon. Nightmare on Elm Street 8, Dream Demon. There we go. Because there was the Dream series for a while. 3, 4, and 5. But, yeah, 2, definitely underrated. Who cares if it's got gay undertones? I guess it's in the 80s that wasn't as friendly, but now it's like 2020, so it's very normal. You know, that's life now. People can do what they want.
If this movie came out today, it would be more well received than it was.
Nobody would even bat an eye at it and say anything about it being gay or whatever. Yeah. So who cares? But if you didn't like it because of that, that's stupid.
Yeah. So. The shower scene with the coach and he whips him and then ties him up.
Yeah, that's a little weird, that one, because when I was watching it, I hadn't seen this one in a while, and I was like, I don't remember if what I think happens, and it didn't, luckily, but it's still a fucking brutal scene, dude. Yeah. Because and then he wakes up and like he shows up, the cops bring him home. Yeah. And he's naked, and he was walking around naked, and his parents are like, you doing recreational drugs? Like, his dad's convinced that he's on drugs.
His dad's a fucking piece of shit.
He's a fucking douche, man. Yeah. And then like the bird just blows up, and he's like, that's him. I know it's him blowing. Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't blow the fucking bird up, dude. I gotta get my camera straight here. But yeah, two's definitely worth a watch. If you're wanting to watch this, like, if you want to watch the series, watch them all, but 2's gonna be better than you think. And I think I definitely really enjoyed this one more than I thought I would, just because they followed up. Before we move on to the third one, they followed up the first one with a different person and different story, if you will. Pretty good. Like, but they did a good.
But the cool part is that he was in that house, and that's why he's having to deal with this.
Exactly.
But also, did you notice in the second one of the house? Sorry, I got a frog. The door is different. Because at the end of the first one, the mom goes through the door. So in the second one, it's a different door. It took me a while to notice that, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's pretty cool that they actually kind of played off of that."
And this is directed by Jack Shoulder. All right, so on to Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors, directed by Chuck Russell. Screenplay by Wes. So Wes Craven was involved in all of them, but not always the director, I guess, right?
He wasn't involved in all of them, because like 2, he was nowhere near it. And you could tell because of how like Freddie comes out and like in the pool and all that shit. Like I watched interviews with
characters by Wes Craven.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
The third one, he wrote the first draft.
Screenplay. Yeah. Story by Wes Craven based on characters by Wes Craven, and screenplay by Wes Craven, Bruce Wagner, Frank Darabont, and Chuck Russell.
Yeah, and then it became like a committee kind of thing. He wrote the first draft, sent it in. They used all the characters, but what he wanted to do in the third one was make it more reality-based, which ends up being a new nightmare. But the characters that he wrote ends up being in this movie still. And the basis of the story he wrote is still the same story. It was just darker.
Yeah. So Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors came out February 27th, 1987. Yeah, February, which is weird. But I guess if you look at the Friday the 13th and stuff, they weren't always out around Halloween.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, like, you know, I'm not a huge horror person. Like, I like it, but I like the franchises. If it's a franchise, and I don't like a ton of gore. Like, I can handle it, but it's not for me. Like, I want a story. And that's why, like, this and Halloween and even Friday the 13th, they have story, and that's what makes them so interesting. And that's why they have such a big fan base. But 3 is by far and away my favorite, not just because of the song, But which
Yeah.
I mean, the song fucking rules. I love that song. I've always liked that
A
song.
lot of people hold it in pretty high regard.
Yeah.
Like it's just it was almost like the culmination, because it kind of was. But then they're like, hey, let's do more movies.
Yeah, the series definitely. I mean, it could have just been a standalone movie, the first one. And then they did the second one, and then they're like, okay, well, now we got to do a third one because they kept making money. But the third one, I mean, they could have ended this series right here, and it
could have been just a trilogy.
fine.
Yeah.
But Patricia Arquette, this is her first movie. She's fucking phenomenal in it. I wish she would have came back for 4, but obviously
that pissed me off.
Yeah, she got busy after this, and you know, obviously her family lineage of actors, you know, they all kind of started getting movies about this time and got big. This one though, it's weird. It's good. It's awesome, but it's weird. And I mean, obviously, we have it in our intro that I made for Halloween. It's got the most famous line in Nightmare on Elm Street, the "Welcome to Primetime, bitch."
Yeah.
And that line was actually ad-libbed by Robert Englund. It wasn't in the script.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I found that out.
Sweet.
I was like, holy shit, man. How, like, that's some quick wit right there.
This one, I just was surprised when I watched it that it was. Well, I knew when I watched it, like, people kind of held it in high regard, as like a lot of people have it as it's like their favorite or like the second favorite,
Yeah.
you know. And just the story is really good. They're all in. Well, what's her name in this? It's Kristen.
Kristen, yeah.
Kristen. She's having these dreams. Her mom doesn't believe her, so she goes to a mental ward. Her mom's kind of a bitch. I mean,
Yeah.
she is. She treats her like
straight
shit.
up bitch. And a whore.
And a whore. And so she takes her to the hospital. They put her in the mental institution. So she's in there with all these other guys who come back in the fourth one because, spoiler alert, they live, some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really I thought the cast in this one is really well done, and each kid has a power, and they're all different, but they all have the same kind of mental state because they're all in a mental institution. But also
because of Freddie.
Right. Also, Nancy comes back as kind of like I guess she's the doctor, not really a doctor, but she's like a psychiatrist, counselor type.
She's like a counselor type.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to tell the doctor, like, she's helping the kids, and she finally gets through to the guy doctor because the lady doesn't want to believe him. Nancy and the guy doctor end up getting fired because she's like, you guys are done because this is bullshit.
The lady doctor's also a bitch. She's also a bitch.
I would say the best scene, it's just a feel good scene, is when they're all in that room and he hypnotizes them and they do their dream, and they're all sleeping and he finally sees it all and he's like, holy fuck, you guys aren't kidding.
Yeah.
And Freddie he's torturing all of these kids, and so a couple of them die.
Yeah.
And it's Joey, and what is the other dude's name?
The wizard kid dies. Kincaid makes it.
Kincaid, yeah. Which in the fourth one they don't make it as long, but yeah, this one, aside from all the scenes in the hospital, I don't really remember the ending. Like I said, I was dozing a lot when I was watching these. But I remember this one being really good though.
The puppeteer scene when he comes down off the wall as the little puppet, and then he pulls the tendons out and makes the kid walk.
Yeah.
And then he goes up on the thing, and then you see Freddie over the building, and they think the kid commits suicide, even though he actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, because they're all watching. They're like, "Stop!" And he's like in the window like this, and he fucking jumps. He throws him out of the window.
Yeah,
dude, it's crazy.
And this
of course, the doctors don't believe it.
Right, and this is also when you meet Freddie's mother, Amanda Kruger, who's the nun, and you find out why Freddie is a maniac. He's the bastard son of 100 maniacs, and and they don't know it's her at first, obviously, but they find out later on that she's his mother, and she was locked in this room by accident, and gets raped, and the maniac sperm concoction creates Freddy. And then later on, you see more of his story in 6, Freddy's Dead.
Oh, yeah. This is the one where Kristen's having the dream and she's Amanda and all the dudes.
That's 4. That's 4.
That's 4. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 4. That's right. Because it's the different Kristen.
Right.
Okay. Never mind. Told you they all ran together, dude.
Yeah.
After I was watching them day by day.
3 and 4 kind of piggyback each other.
They do. Yeah. They follow.
Kristen's different, the 4th one.
Yeah, we can't stress that enough. It's a different Kristen, and it's
not the same.
I'm not a big fan of it.
No.
Yeah,
it would have been so much better if it was Patricia Arquette.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I guess that just kind of brings us into 4 there.
Yeah.
You get Kristen lives, Joey lives, and what'd you say his name was?
Kincaid.
Kincaid. So then we go to 4. The Dream Master was August 19th, 1988, grossed $49.4 million on a $6.5 million budget. And it made it the highest grossing film in the franchise until the release of Freddy vs. Jason, a crossover in 2003.
Which Freddy vs. Jason made
like
$110 or $13 million, something like that. Made a
but
lot.
Movies were making more by then, though. Like by the 2000s, movies were grossing a lot more because there was more effects and.
Not only that, but the cost of a movie ticket was more.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
I mean, back in the 80s, it was, probably a couple of bucks to go to the movie.
There was some inflation from the first movie to the last movie and even the remake.
Now, even 2 people, you can't go to the movies and not spend fucking at least $40.
Especially if you want a soda or $20 popcorn.
Because movie tickets are 12 to 15 fucking dollars, and then
and depending on what time you go,
popcorn and candy and soda and all that.
And if you see an IMAX, you can add another $10 to that. Yeah. So it's crazy. So movies gross a lot more now. It's crazy.
It takes a lot to get me in a theater, not just because of what's going on now, but even before all this shit. Because then I got to take the kids and they cost, and then the candy for them, the sodas for them. And it's like, Jesus Christ, you got to go out to eat before or after. And it's a whole fucking thing. I literally, when we've went to Star Wars and whatever, I'll drop $100 to the movie theater easy between the 5 of us.
So the movie starts out, and I believe it's right at the start. Kristen's having the dream. She's back in Freddy's old boiler room, and she summons Kincaid and Joey.
And Kincaid's like, "Why are you dragging me into this shit?"
Yeah, he's sassy, the sassy boy.
His character is fucking funny as hell.
I like his character, yeah, because it was unique, and we hadn't had that character yet. And
he actually mentioned, I watched a panel of the kids from 3. And he said he was the first black guy to survive a horror movie.
He was too. Yeah. When he survived in 3, I was like, dude, that's the fucking cliche broke. Yeah. Because everybody always kills off the black dude.
Yeah. We're moving barriers here with this franchise.
Yeah, we're getting closer to BLM here. It's getting close.
Yeah.
But anyways, but those guys, they don't last long, Joey and Kincaid. They die pretty early on in the movie.
Yeah,
because
Kincaid goes back and kills. Kincaid goes back to the junkyard or whatever, where they buried his bones in the 3rd one. Yeah, because the dog's digging him up.
Yeah, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And then the dog gets all aggressive with him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then the cars start up.
Yep.
And they start driving at him and shit, and he's trying to escape. And then Joey, what was his death again? Where was he at? I just don't.
His what? Oh my god! Yeah, it's. Oh, what the fuck? Is his? No, his isn't the nurse. The nurse was.
Here we go. Joey watches MTV and listens to music in his room. He begins to fall asleep and discovers a model from one of his posters swimming in his waterbed.
That's the waterbed. Fuck. Yeah. And Freddy she comes up and he's looking at her and her tits and everything. Yeah.
Freddy jumps out of the waterbed and attempts to drown Joey. Joey screams for Kristen to help him, but Freddy stabs him and kills him. At school the next day, Kristen panics when she notices Joey and Kincaid are missing and accidentally knocks herself out as Rick attempts to calm her. Freddie tries to attack Kristen as the school nurse and wakes her up. Isn't that when he's out of makeup? No, that's not it.
No.
He is out of makeup. Okay.
Yeah.
That's later somewhere.
Yeah, he's out of
Kristen
makeup.
Kristen feels guilty about staying awake when she learns that Kincaid and Joey are found dead. She later tells Rick, Alice, and Alice's crush Dan, who make it into the next movie, about Freddie. And now it's coming back to me. I'm just reading this off Wikipedia. It's a little refresher. Kristen realizes that her mother has put sleeping pills in her dinner but falls asleep. She tries to run out of the dining room. Kristen starts to dream, and Freddie overcomes her, attempts to repel him, and forces her back to his home. Since Kristen is the last of the Elm Street children alive, Freddie goads Kristen into summoning one of her friends in the dream so that his fun can begin anew. She calls Alice into her dream, and Alice becomes the dream.
She takes the powers.
Yeah, she takes the powers. Yeah.
Because Kristen's in the little fire thing, and she's like, "You're gonna need my powers," and like,
yeah,
whatever. Okay.
And then Dan, like something happens to Dan. I think he has an accident or something, and he gets in surgery. And
Freddie's the doctor.
Yeah, Freddie's the doctor. Let's fight, kill Frey together. When their father steps in, Alice falls asleep. And Alice's father, he's like kind of a drunk asshole in this one. Debbie transforms her into a cockroach. Mariah remembered that one. She's like, is this one where she turns into a cockroach and he smushes her? That's the bench press chick.
Yeah.
She's all fitness and stuff, and crushes her in a roach motel. Using that's the little sticky trap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like looking in it, and then
yeah. Such a savage fucking guy,
dude. But that scene where she's bench pressing and her fucking arms. Like, that's gnarly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. He pushes it down and rips her arms.
Ugh.
That's a pretty solid death scene. Though.
Yeah.
I like that one, the cockroach thing and all that. Alice tries to ram Freddie but collides with the tree in reality and dream Dan. And Dan, that's when he goes to In a dream, Alice rescues Dan and the two find themselves in an old church. Dan gets injured in the dream, which prompts his surgeons to wake him up. Alice now has to face Freddie alone. Yeah, because Dan wakes up and he's like, no, I needed to be asleep.
Yeah.
Freddie has the upper hand due to his experience, but she uses her friend's dream powers against him. When he is about to win, Alice remembers a nursery rhyme called The Dream Master. She recites it, and it forces Freddie to face his own reflection, which causes souls within him to revolt. That's right, they're all coming out of his stomach.
He raises up his shirt, and it's all coming out, and then he's up against the wall, and they're all grabbing him. And
Yeah. And then that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And then we go on to 5. Let's get rolling.
Is it 4 or 5, the one with the diner? The Crave
4 and 5 is the... Oh, I think it's 4 because 5...
And because the part where they're...
Not there very much.
They're going... there's the pizza and the meatball, and he eats it. And he fucking stabs the meatball and eats it.
I don't know.
But
they all ran together.
The part with the diner that got me was the part where they keep running out and it repeats. And they're like, haven't we done this before?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God. And so, and then they finally figure it out. But I just thought that was really cool because at first I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, is the movie skipping? Like, what's going on? And then they finally realize they're repeating it over and over.
Yeah. So then we get to Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. We'll get rolling here because this gets easier to just give us hypnosis and move on. So Dream Child was released August 11th, 1989, grossed $22.1 million on a budget of $8 million. It was a big decline from Dream Warriors and Dream Master, and it received mostly negative reviews from the critics. This one kind of starts it's got some good moments in it. Like when Freddy's the baby and it's got a lot of weird shit in it. But this is when Alice and Dan are graduating college. Dan goes pretty early in a car wreck because Freddy gets him, and Alice is like, Freddy got him. And Alice's dad is sober in this one. She's still at the diner, but she shows up late she's just walking through the park from graduation to the diner to do her shift, and she shows up, and that chick's like, "You're fucking, thanks a lot, you're 4 hours late." And she's like, "What?" And like, it's because she was dreaming about the weird baby thing or whatever. She sees the fucking Freddy baby. Mariah was like, "Is this the one with the fuck? Isn't the 5 the one with the fucking baby?" And I was like, "Yeah, that was
she
the
gets
one."
pregnant.
She gets, yeah. So this one, I don't know. I just kind of skipped to the end. It's
so this one, Alice is pregnant, and like when Freddy kills, the souls go into the baby, which is it's fucking
and that's
weird.
what she's kind of dreaming about.
Yeah,
she's dreaming about the kid. She keeps following him around in the dream. She's like, he said, "Well, I'm waiting on the bad man." Yeah. And then he's like, "Oh, he's here." And she's like, "No, don't go up there. Don't go upstairs or whatever." And Alice goes to bed to save her son. Okay, so I'll read the last couple paragraphs here on Wikipedia. Yvonne and Dan's parents are still alive, believe Alice is crazy. Dan's parents insist that she give them the baby when it's born, which Alice refuses. Alice and Mark research Kruger and the nun Amanda, realizing Amanda was trying to stop Freddie. They investigate her whereabouts, and Alice goes to sleep, hoping to find Amanda at the asylum, where Freddie lures her away by threatening Yvonne, who has fallen asleep in a jacuzzi. Alice rescues Yvonne, she was banging out the bricks in the wall and found the skeleton nun. Alice rescues Yvonne, who finally believes her. Mark falls asleep and is pulled into a comic book world where Freddie slashes him apart.
Freddie.
Yeah, Mark's the nerdy kid. That's right. Alice goes to bed to find Freddie and save her son. She is led into a maze before she draws Freddie out to find her out from within herself. Yvonne finds Amanda's remains at the asylum and joins the fight in the dream world, encouraging Jacob to use the power Freddie has been giving him. Jacob destroys Freddie, and his infant form is absorbed by his mother, while Alice picks up baby Jacob. Warning Alice away, Amanda seals Freddie away in time. Several months later, Jacob Daniel Johnson is enjoying a picnic with his mother, grandfather Yvonne, and that's when you see the kids doing the nursery rhyme, and you're like, it's not over.
It's not over yet.
So
the kid in this one freaks me out. Like, his eyes are really weird.
He looks sick too. Yeah, which they made him look that way. But
but he's just a weird looking. And even today, like, I watched the interviews and stuff, the documentaries, and he's like, he looks exactly the same, just older. It's creepy.
It's just creepy. Yeah. There's the champagne bottle they think Dan was drinking when he wrecked, but like, obviously Alice is like, no, that was Freddie. So yeah. Anyways, that's 5. Yeah. That's it. And then we get to another one. What's that?
I was like, it's okay.
It's there. 1 through 4. Like it goes 3 and then it starts going. 4 is not bad, but it does decline. Yeah. It's like D. Yeah. Freddy's Dead is definitely when you hit bottom.
Yeah, they hit rock bottom with this one.
It's
silly. It's too silly. Like, I want a little bit of comedy with it, but this is too much. Like at the beginning,
there's no good story.
Yeah, at the beginning he's in the plane. And he's looking out the window and stuff, and he's all freaking out. And he asks the old lady if they can switch seats, and she's like, "Quit being a pussy." And then the fucking top of the plane blows off, and she gets sucked up. And then he goes out, and then he's in his house, and the house starts floating. And it's Wizard of Oz, and Freddy's on the broom. And that's just, it's silly.
Yeah, the broom, and he's holding him, and he's like, "What is the deal?" Freddy's wanting him to.
He's wanting him to bring him new fresh meat.
That's right. He won't kill him if he brings him fresh meat or whatever.
He makes him think that he's his son. Because it comes out that Freddy has a kid and he thinks he's his son. And then finally later on, when he's in the parachute or whatever, and Freddy's, right by him and he clips it, the first one, he's like, "You thought it was a boy, but it was my daughter." And then he slashes the other one and he falls, and then it shows Freddie wheel out the fucking spikes and he's like, whew, and he falls on the fucking spikes. That was pretty gnarly too.
The Nintendo,
that was probably Yeah,
death was.
Yeah, that was silly.
He's like,
The pothead.
and he falls off. Yeah. This one's a skipper.
Yeah.
You can definitely skip this movie.
The coolest part
there's-
of this one is Alice Cooper being his
Yeah.
foster dad, which is another
Yeah.
reason why Freddie is the way he is, because he gets adopted by Alice Cooper and he beats the shit out of him, and then it shows as he gets older, like he's whipping him with the belt and it's not phasing him, and he catches it and he ends up killing Alice Cooper. And then you see the girl in this one, the daughter. What's her fucking name? I'm drawing a fucking blank.
Who's that?
Freddie's daughter.
Whose daughter?
Freddie's.
I'm
drawing a fucking blank.
I don't, dude. This movie's not. It's just not memorable.
The short black-haired chick. Anyways, it shows her as a little girl, and she's outside playing, and Freddie's there, and then the mom.
Lindsay Fields.
Is it Lindsay?
Lindsay?
And then
Loretta Kruger.
Yeah. Or wait, that's
Loretta.
the mom.
Oh, hey, Johnny Depp's in this one.
Yeah,
that's right.
He's on the drug PSA or whatever.
I forgot Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold are in it.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm gonna look it up because it's gonna drive me fucking nuts.
Anyways, yeah, this one is the one I don't. I think I actually fell asleep during the middle to end of this one. This one I remember.
It was
not the one.
And the only reason I rented it was because Alice Cooper was in it.
Oh yeah, of course. You're like, yeah, of course.
And he wasn't in it very
Alice
long.
Coop Daddy.
Did you notice the music was by Brian May?
I did not notice the music was by Brian May.
Maggie, Catherine. Catherine is her name as...
Okay.
Okay, so her name is Maggie. She has a different name, and then she remembers that Freddie's her dad. She starts remembering her childhood, and her name's Catherine. But she's playing in the yard, and the mom comes out from under the house, the cellar, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, I won't tell anybody." And they never really tell you what she's not going to tell, but I just assume that he was molesting his daughter.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I got from it.
Yeah.
And and then she's like, I won't tell anybody. Like, the little girl won't tell anybody. But then it shows her watching Freddie bash his wife's head against the tree. And then Catherine comes running out, and she sees her mom fall, like, lifeless. And she's like, I won't tell anybody. And then they end up taking her away. And that's another reason why Freddie goes crazy, because they take his daughter away from him. But yeah, it's a little fucked up. And then at the end, they're in that like gel kind of thing, and she throws the knives, and he's up against the thing, and she comes up to him, and she goes, "Happy Father's Day," and gives him a kiss, and then shoves the fucking dynamite thing in his fucking chest, and he blows up. This is the one that was supposed to be in 3D. So like
that,
the little sperm thing come flying.
Yeah,
it was super, because there's even a scene where she puts the 3D glasses on, and the doctor's like, or whoever, the guy, he's like, if you wear these into your dream, it can be anything you want. I'm like, wait, what? When did that fucking start happening? Like, you could always take shit into the dream with you, but not with, it just can't turn into whatever.
Yeah,
that was really strange.
It's not the movie it's not the Freddy movie to watch or remember as Freddy's dead. It's just not.
Definitely skippable.
It's a skipper. But the next one's a good one.
Yeah.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare in 1994. What was it? October 14th, 1994. Hey, it was for Halloween. Perfect.
Yeah, I remember seeing this in the theater as a kid. I was 7.
Grossing $19.8 million at the box office on a budget of $8 million, making it the poorest performing film in the Nightmare series. However, it received positive reviews from film critics, which led to a sequel in 2003, Freddy vs. Jason. But I think this one you could almost put as a cult classic of the series. This would be like the cult classic. People loved it after the fact.
Yeah.
Like the box office wasn't good, but
the rentals,
people, yeah,
and TV
I think
later
the
on.
box. the box office number was probably because people were still like, I don't want to watch this after Freddy's dead.
Yeah.
If they watched that, they were like, this is no bueno.
And like in retrospect, like if people would have realized it was Wes Craven's new nightmare, he's back. Wes Craven's back. That makes a whole difference. And in one of the documentaries I was watching, it was an interview with Wes, and he was basically saying, you know, this is kind of what I wanted Dream Warriors to be in a sense. And it also is what leads him to do Scream 2 years later.
Yeah. Okay.
It's got that vibe to it almost. If you really think about it, it's kind of Screamish with the phone calls and everything.
Yeah. So this one starts, and it's like reality / it's reality based. So it's the actor that portrays Nancy in the earlier films. Then they're filming another Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, they're trying to get her to do it. And her husband has already signed on because he's like a special effects guy, and he's making a new glove. And she had already dreamed about it, like at the beginning of the movie. That's her dreaming that they're making this like metal glove, and it comes alive and it slashes everybody up. Yeah. And then she wakes up, and then he's like, I gotta go to work, and he goes to work, and the kid's like being weird. And let's just get this out of the way. The kid's the worst character. The fucking little kid from Full House and Kindergarten Cop. Boys have penises, girls have a vagina.
Yeah.
Did that kid ever age? Like, he literally was the same age for like 20 years. He was in everything.
Dude, no.
Everything.
The kid annoyed the fuck out of me because he's constantly walking around, and he's like, 1, 2. It's like, okay, dude, you got to do something else with the fucking kid. And it should have been, and like you said, it should have been a different kid.
Yeah.
Should have been a rando. That's what you texted me last night, which is definitely correct.
Because it would have made it more
He's the
believable.
boys have penises kid.
Yeah. I'm like, that's a kid from fucking Full House and Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah.
Like, that's not Heather Langenkamp's real kid.
Yeah.
Like, being unknown, like, and in the beginning, and introducing Joe Sixpack as Nancy's kid or Heather's kid. But so the husband,
there's earthquakes the whole time. Yeah. The earthquakes are happening.
And then you realize that it's just Freddie trying to come up into the reality because nobody else feels it. You see it in the hospital. She's like, the earthquake. And the nurse is like, what are you talking about? I guess it missed us.
Yeah. And then the truck, she's like, that earthquake. And she's like, well, it was just a big truck drove by. And it's like, okay, something weird's going on. But
he keeps trying to come up from under the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. He keeps trying to come up from under the bed. This one has, in my opinion, the best Freddy as far as makeup and his claws. I like this one the best. Yeah, for sure. Like,
it's not classic
it's scary.
Freddy. It's scary.
No,
I don't like the hat. The hat and the jacket. I don't like that.
You don't like that? I'm
the hat
into it, man.
The hat. If it was brown like the original, I'd be okay with it. But it's like green.
Yeah.
I don't really
that's what you never mind. That's what you said, the olive green hat thing.
Yeah. And the jacket. I don't know. It's just weird. Like, is it cold?
So,
I don't understand. Why is he wearing a jacket all the time?
I don't know. He's Freddy, man.
He does what he wants.
You just go with it. So Nancy goes to, well, not Nancy, Heather goes to Wes Craven's house and is like, what is this script you're writing? And he's like, I'm writing it. It's all based off his dreams. And he's like, he's dreaming this stuff.
She's slowly realizing that everybody involved with it is having the same dreams she's having.
It's all, Freddie is involved in this.
Even Robert Englund, who's painting when she calls him.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, I got to go. It's not a good time. Yeah,
it's not.
Because he's painting the Freddie thing.
Can I come to your house? And he's like, today's not a good day. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning. And he's like, oh, okay, bye. Like, when he finishes the painting, then he looks at the painting. He's like, eh. And I always thought like it would be like the new Freddie he was painting, but it's like just kind of a blurry Freddie.
Yeah. And that's a thing I kind of never like, because she goes, I need to see Robert. Where's Robert? And like, was he Freddie? Like, was that what was going on?
Yeah, she's torn because they're friends, Yeah. But she also is kind of wondering if it's really him. But then you can see kind of that turning point when she realizes it's not him that's doing it.
Yeah.
Because he's having the same dreams as her. And obviously he wouldn't do that because they're friends.
So the hospital things, Dylan's in the hospital. They're starting to question Heather and be like, are you taking drugs? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Shit starts popping off in there because they put the kid to sleep. Mm-hmm. And Freddie's in there just destroying the babysitter.
Oh, yeah.
The ceiling and the walls.
She has the Tina death, basically, from the first one.
Yeah, it's seriously, it's literally the Tina death, basically. And
it's cool because the kid sees Freddie up like on the side of the wall, and that part's cool. And he's like dragging her and shit.
Yeah. And the nurses see it and they're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Because she's just in the air like, ah!
And blood's everywhere. And the kid's like,
yeah. So then the kid starts sleepwalking. When he walks across the street, I was laughing my ass off because he's just like, there's fucking traffic everywhere.
See,
like, and he's just like slowly walking across the street.
You can tell the difference between somebody who has kids and somebody who hasn't, because I was having a fucking panic attack.
You were in panic.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, don't. Even though I don't like that
I
kid,
that
but
too, when I was watching it and I was like, I'm gonna tell Tommy I laughed about this, and he's gonna tell me he was fucking freaking out because he has kids. But it's a movie.
Yeah,
also.
Yeah. No, I know.
And the kid is like he's
just like a fucking zombie. Like, why is he fucking zombie?
Yeah, the whole movie, dude. He's a zombie. Yeah, that's what I didn't like about it.
Get a fucking personality, dude.
He's got this. Seriously, like even when she talks to him, he's just like, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Are you okay?
Dude? Yeah, just zommed out.
Where's Rex?
So he goes back to the house, and he left a trail of sleeping pills.
Yeah.
So she's taking them on the trail, and then she
fucking
sleeping
pills.
slides down the covers, and she slides down the covers, and then they're back in like the boiler room, the furnace, and all that. And it's definitely I like the ending a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the ending's
Freddie,
cool.
At the end, he dies by fire.
Yeah.
Which is what he died by. Like in his real life. But the tongue thing, I always remember the tongue in the furnace. Like he wraps it around her, and then the kid stabs it.
Oh yeah, and
the snake in the eye.
Yeah, because it's cool after he stabs him in the tongue with the knife or whatever. Like when he retracts his tongue and he's like up against the wall, his tongue is out, and you can see the serpent, like the cut in his tongue. I thought that was cool.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like one of those little things. But when he has her head down in the water, and he's like, what does he say? Pick something out for the Rugrat, bitch. And then
Pick something out for the Rugrat, bitch.
And then she grabs it and sticks him in the eye with it, and then she gets up and she's like, "Fuck you," and then starts kicking his ass. Like I thought that was cool that she like got her revenge on him like that. And for somebody to fuck you to Freddie, that's pretty gnarly.
So Freddie fights off Heather and chases Dylan in the furnace. Dylan escapes in the furnace, doubles back into Heather and Heather. They push Freddie in the furnace and light it. They crank that thing, it lights it up, and this destroys both the monster and his reality. Dylan and Heather emerge from under the blankets, and Heather finds a copy of the film's events and a screenplay at the foot of the bed. Inside is written, "Thanks from Wes for defeating Freddie and playing Nancy one last time. Her victory helps to imprison the entity of the film's franchise's fictitious world once more." Dylan asks if it is a story and agrees that it is before opening the script and reading from the pages for Son. And even when you see the last pages of it, it's like it's the script. It's exactly the script. So I wonder if that is the script that the movie is.
I'm sure it is, or at least a copy.
Yeah. Like, why not? Just the reality mixed with fiction it was cool. It really worked here.
That part to me was kind of to me, because earlier in the movie she's reading a book and she stops reading it because she's like, it's going to give you nightmares. He's like, it's okay, mommy, I like this story. So she's worried about giving him nightmares with that book, but not with the script that he just lived.
Well, because they think they killed Freddie. So
right.
I guess that's why.
But I guess also at that point, it's like, you've already lived it. Why not fucking, read it to you?
Yeah. This is what happened to us. Let's read the screenplay.
Yeah. Let's go back and relive it. for a minute.
Let's blaze through Freddy vs. Jason
Okay.
real quick. Freddy vs. Jason was released August 15, 2003. I remember seeing it in theaters. It grossed over 116 million worldwide, making it the highest grossing film in both the Friday 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street series. Once again, with what we said earlier, tickets are more, they cost
Inflation.
more people are watching it. It's just, that's how it was. So that's why it's the highest grossing.
And not only that, but it's also the two franchises. So
It's also the two franchises.
You've got the Nightmare
one,
fans and you've got the Friday fans coming together.
Both coming to see it. And you got both. I remember when it came out, everybody was kind of like, Jason's going to win. Freddy's going to win. Like, even in school, being 10-year-old kids or whatever, like, everybody was wondering who was going to win. And then the rumors were that there was going to be the other versus movies. So you said there was the Ash versus Jason versus Freddy comic?
Yeah, there was a comic. So this movie actually comes from the end of Jason Goes to Hell. When you see Jason's
Jason
mask.
Goes to Hell. Yeah.
You see the mask. I remember seeing that in theaters too. You see the mask laying on the ground, and then Freddy's claw comes up and pulls Jason's mask in, and
they kind of knew.
And the claw, that scene, Freddy's glove, that's Kane Hodder that plays Jason. He's wearing the glove. He's the one that pulls the mask in.
Pulls it in. Okay. Yeah. So they knew at that point they were going to do.
It was just a matter of them being two different studios. That's what took so long to
coming
get
together.
the rights to do it. But yeah, so that movie, and then I don't think the comics came out until I remember getting them because it was a 6-part miniseries, but they came out later on. Anyways, the story was always out that they were going to make Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, and Ash was supposed to win because he, the Necronomicon and all that shit, and somehow they go into the Necronomicon and he puts it in the water or something. I don't remember the full story, but that was supposed to be the original, and then they decided to do just this because they couldn't get Bruce Campbell and all that shit.
That would be, that's a lot. You're already getting Robert Englund and the Jason,
right?
And then it's like to get Bruce Campbell too. That's going to make it a really big.
But also, Evil Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street, those movies kind of went together because in '87, when Dream Warriors came out at the same time, they were filming Evil Dead 2. So the story is that one day Freddy's glove went missing from the set of Dream Warriors. And that's when it shows up in Evil Dead 2 up on the wall in the shack when Bruce Campbell's making the chainsaw hand.
Yeah.
There's Freddy's glove up on the wall in the shack.
Yeah.
And then was it Nightmare 1? There's an Evil Dead poster.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the Evil Dead poster in Nightmare 1.
So
yeah.
There was always that kind of back and forth. So that's another reason why they thought that would happen. And then in the original ending of Freddy versus Jason, they were going to have them both go to hell. And Pinhead was going to be kind of like why this all started happening, why they start fighting, is because Pinhead is controlling everything.
That's another one we got to talk about too. We got to do Hellraiser because Hellraiser's got some. Well, it's 1 through 2, and then it starts to go.
And then by the end, it's not even the original guy.
It's not
Doug. I can't think of his last name. Anyways, but
Von Stereite.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I don't know. Anyways, Freddy vs. Jason.
Doug Bradley.
What did you think? Because I've always kind of liked Freddy vs. Jason. This is your first time watching it.
Yeah,
right?
all the way through. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. Like, I liked the fighting. I liked the actual battles, and I like that it's not just one battle at the end. It's throughout.
Yeah. And it's the whole movie.
Yeah, and Freddy's pissed because Jason's still in his kills. I thought that was cool. I could have done without the chick from Destiny's Child that wasn't Beyonce.
Oh, you're talking about Kelly Rowland.
Kelly Rowland. That's her name. Okay.
That's who you're talking about. Yeah.
I didn't like her character.
I can be a motivation.
Can't pay my telephone bills. Can't pay my automobiles. Can't pay my automobiles.
That's who you're talking about. Yeah.
You and me are.
So they're taking Hypnocil in this one, so they don't go to sleep or whatever, and
Okay,
the dudes go to the mental.
Let me tell you why I don't like her though, real quick. Okay, so she's dreaming and she gets her nose cut off, right?
Yeah.
Then she wakes up, her nose is fine. What the fuck?
It's just I don't know.
That's my main
it's kind of
beef.
The movie's got its moments that don't make sense as far as both sides go, but like I like how the people end up kind of siding with Jason in a way, because they're like, Freddy's he's an evil motherfucker, and Jason, it's like they kind of lean for Jason.
They get his motivation, why he does what he does.
Yeah, they get Freddy is just like, he's just a piece of shit. He likes to kill young kids or whatever, teenagers.
in their sleep. At least Jason, you have like a kind of a fighting chance, you know? You can try to get away.
He's not getting you when you're down or whatever, literally.
Yeah.
But anyways, I remember I enjoyed this movie probably because it just kind of holds a special spot in my heart because I saw it in theaters. I was 10 and I've liked it ever since. But after watching it older, it's like there's definitely those things like that you can pick out and be like, it's whatever. But
it's very, besides the fighting, like the story and the acting in it, it's very B-movie-ish.
Oh, it's I mean, it is.
But but that's kind of horror
really
anyways. In general, it's
the ending fight is. It's usually like it's just corny. That's horror films. They're corny. But when Jason, at the very end, when Jason walks away with Freddy's head because Jason wins,
the best fucking part.
And Freddy winks and it ends. And it's like, that's just so good because it's like, that's when the rumors just in school or whatever, we were all like, I heard there's going to be a Jason versus Michael. And like, I was kind of hoping for all that, but also that would get watered down and shitty eventually too. But Jason
it would end up like
Michael,
Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, because that was the next one, right? Was that before or after?
That was after. It came out the next year, I think.
I think if it had been a Freddy versus Michael or Jason versus Michael, it probably could have been better than Alien versus Predator. But
Jason versus Michael, though, would be really kind of boring because neither one of them talk.
Because they're both slow, and they don't talk.
That's kind of what made this one good because Jason's all fucking strong and superhuman, and Freddy's got those one-liners and kind of, like he's fucking evil and shit. He'll fuck you up, but he's also gonna make you kind of laugh a little bit while he's doing it.
The scene in like the middle of the movie where Jason and Freddy are fighting. Jason had fell asleep in the van, and they're fighting, and Freddy sees that the water is Jason's weakness. That's also cool because it's water is Jason's weakness. Fire is so it's water versus fire here. So that's also just the story is cool. I like the fight, the versus story. Yeah. Maybe the teenagers kind of suck, or there's boobs, whatever. It's cool. But anyways, it's worth a watch, I'd say.
Sure. Also I didn't like Kelly calling him a, FAG so much. I thought that was a little that was a little much.
She was dropping the cigarette bomb a little too much there.
Yeah, but her kill was pretty sweet up against the tree.
Yeah,
that was pretty
cool.
That was pretty awesome. Like Jason fucked her up.
Yeah, well, she called Freddie.
Yeah, she calls Freddie.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The British cigarette.
The British cigarette. Yes. So, anyways, it's worth a watch. I think it's time we should rank them and take her home. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So, I guess you started last time. I'll start this time.
Okay. So
is that right?
8. Because we'll do Freddy versus Jason. So 8-1. I'm gonna do it off the top of my head. Go ahead.
So 8. I got Freddy's Dead at 8. It's just forgettable. Don't care. Don't remember it. I fell asleep. It might have some moments that I remember here and there, but Freddy's Dead's at the end. Let's just get it out of the way.
I'm gonna go 8 with 5 Dream Master. I liked it a little less than Freddy's Dead, just mainly because 1, Alice Cooper. I can't have him at the bottom of the list, and 2, I remember
Dream Child.
Dream Child is 5. Yeah,
Child. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So, anyways, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I heard the.
Okay. All right. My number 7 is Freddy versus Jason. Not because I dislike it that much. It's just that's the place it belongs as far as ranking the Nightmare on Elm Street series go. But I like Freddy's Dead less than one that's not even Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
It's just not. It had its moments, whatever. But Freddy versus Jason, if it was in a different ranking, if it was a ranking of slasher films in general, maybe it'd be higher, whatever. But it's just 7 because it's 7. That's where it belongs.
I'm gonna agree with you on Freddy versus Jason at 7 for the same reason.
Okay.
The story, like the kids, whatever. If it's a fight, and I love that. I don't know if you knew this, when they were promoting the movie, they did like in Vegas. They had Michael Buffer, and they did like a press conference, and it was Freddy and Jason. And I think you can find it. Yeah, I think you can find it on YouTube. I saw some clips of it. It's pretty funny. Like, and Freddy's like,
sweet.
He's mama's boy and all this, and Jason stands up at the table and like starts to come at him, and then at the end, like they're doing like the face off, and they like start flipping shit over, and it was pretty funny.
That's badass, like a UFC fight.
Yeah.
So number 6 for me is Dream Child.
So 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
5. Yes. 5. Okay. 5. Yeah. Dream Child.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Quit ink.
Well, she was asking if the dogs ate, but coincidentally,
she was in
the
nude.
hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dream Child at number 6. Same reasons as you being kind of where you're at. It's just not. It's like by 5, the series is kind of beat down, and it's like it needed a breath of fresh air in it, and this wasn't a breath of fresh air. It was just kind of continuing the Elm Street, blah blah blah. Anyways, so number 6 is Dream Child.
And my number 6 is Freddy's Dead, because it's not. I don't think it's the worst, but I think it's stupid.
It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom of the list.
I liked it because you get more of Freddy's backstory.
Okay, yeah, that's respectable.
That's the saving grace of the movie.
Yeah, that is the story in the movie, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
The story is Freddy's backstory and that shit coming to fruition.
Yeah.
5 was The Dream Master, number 4, because it was better than Dream Child, but it has its corny moments, but there's a lot of good deaths in it, and it continued off of 3 pretty well. Like
other than Patricia Arquette,
it was a decent
wasn't in it. Different Christian.
Other than that, and see if it was her, like the Patricia Arquette, maybe it would be up a little more, but it's not. So
that it kills the movie for me. Yeah,
it had a good story because it continued off of Dream Warriors. But yeah, anyways,
because even though it's like a movie and they don't notice any difference, we notice the people watching them. We're like,
was that your number 5 as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the rest are the same.
Yeah.
Because I know what's coming next.
Freddy's Revenge, number 4.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So we're on the same page from here on out.
Yeah.
So Freddy's Revenge, number 4.
It's not as bad as people make it out to be, and if you can get over your homophobia, it's not. It's not that
gay though.
I know.
It's just there's some weird stuff.
That's everything I've read and watched on YouTube. It's like
it's all homophobic stuff.
Gay. This is the gayest horror movie ever. Like, who gives a shit?
Good. There's a gay horror film.
Yeah,
they're all too straight. They're all fucking straight, dude.
And the fact
I want to see 2 dudes going at it get killed by Jason. That would be cool. It's different.
Something new. Finally, man. That'll be the next Friday the 13th. Yeah. You just wrote it, and you didn't even know. It'll come out, and we'll be like, "Hey, you heard it here first."
Yeah, it's the Eureka Springs. It's the Eureka Springs Friday the 13th.
I want to see 2 dudes going.
I want to see 2 dudes going at it, getting fucking thrown around the room by Jason. Whatever, or Freddie. I don't care. The remake of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is just gay as can be. And it's like, you know what? It's a great fucking movie. It's PC,
who cares?
Dude.
Yeah,
it's
fuck
PC.
You. Fuck you and your homophobia, you pieces of shit.
But anyways,
I thought it was good.
It's a good movie. And it's better than people give it credit for. And I like I said, they did the story. It's a good continuation off the first one because it's Nancy's house. It's a new kid on the block. And it just works. It worked out good. And there's a lot of really gory shit in it. And it's fun to watch Jesse. He's losing Freddy's just fucking with him, man. He's losing his mind. Freddy's really tormenting him.
Yeah.
And he plays that part really good because he's just losing it. He does the character really good. So number 4.
The guy that plays Jesse should have went on to do other shit, but obviously in that time it wasn't as well received as it is now. So
yeah, exactly.
That's kind of why he got shit on. But he was a good actor. I thought he
was. He did good at it.
I thought he was great.
Really good at it. Number 3 is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This one we just kind of talked about it, but they did a good job on the reality/fiction story, and
it's way better than, like, I would say
what the box office said.
Yeah, that, and it's kind of like what Halloween Resurrection tried to do, like make it a reality base, like they were doing like the internet thing and all that. Like, that's stupid.
Which was way after this, though. It was like 7 years after, I think.
But I think that's kind of what they were trying to go for, was like a reality-based Michael Myers kind of thing. And
clearly,
but New Nightmare, it's like, it's smart reality.
They pulled it off really good. Just
other than the fucking kindergarten cop kid.
It's also the longest one in the series, I believe. Too.
Yeah, it's like almost 2 hours.
It's almost 2 hours, and it's just, when I was watching, I was getting a little irritated at first because I was like, you're not seeing Freddie enough in the first hour. But that's the good part, though, because they're holding it off. You're getting little bits of him for the first like hour, and then the last like 52 minutes or whatever, you get a lot of Freddie. Yeah. But the first hour, it's just building it up. And just Wes Craven directing it was the best thing that could have happened to that movie. Yep. It was great. And it could be higher than 3, but the other 2 are essential to the series.
I could see why this one would be some people's favorites. Like, their absolute favorite.
I could almost say it is mine. Yeah.
I mean,
good one.
It's not as,
it just works.
Other than, like you said, the first hour or so, you don't really see him that much. But just the way the story's built, and you're intrigued, you're waiting for it to happen. You know what's coming, but you don't know. Yeah. And like, if you had never seen this before or never saw pictures of what Freddie looks like, in this movie, when he comes up, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, this is probably what they wanted him to look like originally.
You can almost watch it as a number 2. Like, you can watch the first one and then this one, and you would you could get it. Yeah. And you don't even have to, but that would just be a good way to do it, because they tell enough. It would go well.
Yeah, it would go well.
So then number 2 is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
That's your number 2?
That's my number 2. Oh. Yeah, that is my number 2. Yeah.
You like 1 better than 3?
Only because it's the first one, and without the first one, there isn't all the other ones.
So we are different, because mine's flip flop.
Okay, we are different on that.
3 is my favorite.
Okay, yeah, and my favorite is obviously the first one. Yes,
which I mean,
so just
totally get it.
They're interchangeable for me, because Dream Warriors is, like we talked about earlier, the culmination. It was kind of a culmination of the series, all the kids doing that, but the first one is, I just kind of have to go with it because it's the OG Freddy. It's the first movie. Without that, these don't exist. And it's also good, but it is also that corny B-movie stuff. So is Dream Warriors. I mean, it's all fucking 80s cheese, but, it's...
The Dick Snake.
Yeah, the Dick Snake. One doesn't exist without the other. So
originally, the Dick Snake was actually supposed to be flesh colored, and they had to change it because it looked too much like a dick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's why he's all like grayish looking in the movie.
Okay, yeah. That's funny.
No, I mean, I totally understand why you would like 1 better. It's the introduction. It's the first time you see it.
It's just kind of necessary.
And it's
I
darker.
feel like yeah.
It literally could have been 1 movie and done, but I just like 3.
Why would you do that?
I like 3 better because of the acting. I think the acting was better. It had Heather Langenkamp, who
Definitely
was great
better.
in the first one.
Yeah,
she was awesome in the first one. And the first one, I liked Tina's character. I liked her death. And then also, we didn't mention the hallway scene in the first one when she's in the body bag, and then she gets dragged across the floor. That was cool.
Yeah.
And the hall monitor, where's your pass?
Yeah.
And then she
like,
has the
that's
glove
last thing
on.
you need to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Because she fell asleep in class or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that why? Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I just like 3 better because of the acting. I like the cast better. The only character I didn't really like was the Dungeons and Dragons kid. He got on my nerves.
Well, 3's cool too because there's more than one like main. Everybody's kind of a main in a way. Like
she's
there's
in it, but then you've got Patricia Arquette, you've got Kincaid, you've got
like,
you've got all those.
It's like, is it Nancy or is it Patricia Arquette or is it Joey or like they're all kind of equal. And so that's what, and they did a good job at making it. It's the Dream Warriors. It's about those 4 or 5, 6 people, whatever. That's.
And we didn't mention Dream Warriors, the drug chick, when he's like, let's get high. And he's got the fucking needles on it. Yeah, that was funny. And then her fucking arms, they're all like little. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was neat.
Good moments throughout the whole series.
But yeah, overall, dude, I had a fucking blast watching these movies.
I did too. I really enjoyed them. I would like to.
Dude, Tommy is fucking terrified of Michael Myers. Like, if I watch Halloween, like he'll watch it, but he's like, But like Freddie, he's on the floor laughing and shit. Every time he said bitch, he's like, like rolling around on the floor laughing. And like even like New Nightmare, like he didn't like Freddie because he liked the way he looked in the other movies. But I think it was because he was a little scared of him. Yeah,
that's what it was. Because he's scarier in New Nightmare for sure. And I gotta say, I like New Nightmare Freddy the best. Like the outfit. I do. It's might be an unpopular opinion, but I really like it.
Just give him a brown hat and take the jacket.
Just give him there we go. Give him a brown hat for Tommy, and then it's the best one. Yeah.
Then I'm fine with it. Brown hat, no jacket. I want to see that. I want to see that sweater.
Yeah. So anyways, happy Halloween. Happy early Halloween this Saturday. I'll be doing inventory, but then I get to enjoy Halloween after that. And
I'm happy, dude, that Halloween's on a Saturday and I'm off on Saturdays now. So I finally get to enjoy Halloween. Like usually I have to go to bed at a decent hour because I have to get up and go to work. But I'm off on Sundays, obviously. So I get to stay up late and watch horror movies and eat fucking candy and be a fat piece of shit and enjoy.
That's all right. That's what Halloween's for.
Yeah, so you're supposed to. And I'll be sure to check my kids' candy.
Oh, yeah. So we hope you enjoyed the show. Our comeback show. We'll be back next week with wrestling stuff. We'll figure that out after the show. But be sure to go to prowrestlingtees.com/heels and quads. Call our nobobrand.com. Coupon code heels and quads in all caps. Checkout gets you 10% off your order. They're always putting new sweet stuff on there. They got the Eddie Van Halen CE shirt, so I want that one.
Speaking of which, rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. We haven't done a show since he passed away, so one of my favorites of all time.
We should probably do a Van Halen show at some point.
One of my favorite bands. I've been listening to a lot of Van Halen lately, so
legit. Like that's like vouch. That's not just like he died and now it's just like Tommy's. No, Tommy's a hair metal guy. He's also a big Van Halen guy for sure. That's real.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't see it, I posted a picture from a show I went to. The one time I got to see Van Halen.
Yeah. Fucking legend, man. But we'll talk more about that. I think we need to do like an Eddie Van Halen episode for sure because it's just a straight ledge. What else was it? Man Can Wine, coupon code heels and quads in all caps, 25% of your order and free shipping. And I think that's about it, right? Patreon, join Patreon.
Go Green Hemp.
Go Green Hemp. 15% or 10%?
15.
15%. Heels and quads in all caps. Check out.
Fully Loaded. Heel Pod 10.
Heel Pod 10. Yeah.
10%.
10% off your order. So there you go. There's our show. Our comeback show is Halloween show. It's a nice refresher. I'm just kind of haven't been watching wrestling.
Dude, all of my spare time the last couple weeks have went to watching Nightmare on Elm Street. So
yeah, and this week I'll be watching all Halloween movies and Friday the 13th movies and whatever else because it's the week of Halloween. So,
but
I'm gonna enjoy it.
Maybe we'll do we'll go ahead and do Halloween Havoc 93 next week. since we've already watched it.
We could. Yeah, it's already been watched. So
Might as
we
well
can do that. Little news and then blaze through that one.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I already have the notes written down and
Yeah.
everything. So, all right. Well, we'll talk to you guys next time. Follow us on all social media platforms. Join Patreon. Do all that good stuff. Buy some merch, and we'll talk to you next week with Halloween Havoc 93, I guess. Why not? And some news and whatever else is going on in the wrestling world.
It won't be too far removed from Halloween. I guess if Nightmare on Elm Street can come out on November 1st, why not Heels and Quads
November
reviewing
2nd.
November 2nd?
Yeah, that's
right.
fine. So be sure to tell your friends.
Tell your enemies, bitch.
We'll see you guys next week. Happy Halloween, bitch.
Happy Halloween, bitch.